I had never watched anything by MrBeast. Well, until a few days ago when he became mired in controversies that could end his career, and seemed to have already ended the career of one of his top colleagues. Jail time for some of these people could be on the horizon. Is any of this surprising? The American novel that best seems to encapsulate the country's ethos is The Great Gatsby, by F. Scott Fitzgerald, about a totally delusional conman, living in a fantasy world, but whose criminality has allowed him to earn a fortune. Is that the real American dream? Jay Gatsby is an archetypal pathological narcissist. In Gatsby is a Pathological Narcissist, The Great Narcissist, a study of Fitzgerald's Gatsby, Giles Mitchell, a professor of English at the University of North Texas, wrote, "A clinical analysis of Jay Gatsby's personality shows that he is a pathological narcissist." The themes of perfection and omnipotence in Gatsby's character are classic symptoms of narcissism, in which the ego ideal has become inflated and destructive. Gatsby's grandiose lies, poor sense of reality, sense of entitlement, and exploitive treatment of others, particularly women, offer further evidence for this theory and help explain why he has lost the will to live by the end of the novel. Many critics of The Great Gatsby believe, as John Chambers does, that Jay Gatsby has a vitality and potential for intense happiness. A few critics, of whom Bettina is typical, believe that the best that can be said of Gatsby is that he is a self-made phony. Obviously, those who admire Gatsby find Nick Carraway to be a reliable narrator, and those who deplore Gatsby's character believe Nick to be so morally obtuse that his ideas about Gatsby cannot be trusted. Critics who admire Gatsby, as well as those who do not, adduce a great deal of evidence to support their views. There is probably not a single image, act, or statement in this short novel that has not been subjected to extensive analysis in support of both the admiring and the denigrating view of Gatsby. There is at least one item lacking, however, in criticism of the novel, and that is a clinical profile of Gatsby's personality. My thesis is that the novel contains insuperable evidence that Gatsby is a pathological narcissist who by the end of the novel has lost the will to live. This analysis could be applied not just to MrBeast but to almost all of the top American YouTubers. The entire influencer industry is full of malignant narcissists who are experts in conning people, and posing as healers, fixers, rescuers, saviors, messiahs, gurus, ascended masters, philanthropists, cool guys, great people, amazing human beings, and so on. Scratch the surface of any of these people and you discover the disgusting reality. Jay Gatsby is the template, the archetype, for all these frauds, these self-made phonies. What is most depressing is that the USA seems to revolve around Gatsby-style fantasists, who often become amazingly successful, like MrBeast, because they tune into the deepest archetypes that control the American psyche. Seriously, go and do a bit of digging regarding your favorite YouTuber and influencer and you will almost certainly find videos exposing them as monsters. Or study the videos on the psychology of malignant narcissism by someone like Professor Sam Vaknin, and then compare and contrast your favorite YouTube influencer with the profile and behavior of an extreme narcissist. Narcissists are out to get your attention, money and devotion, and they know all the tricks to get you to buy into their image, which is always presented as one of perfection. If you ever hear a YouTube influencer admitting that he suffers from perfectionism, run, clutching your wallet. Get out of there fast. Yet, if you met Jay Gatsby in the flesh, you'd probably go to the fabulous parties he hosts in his wondrous mansion, and say what an incredible guy he is. You have entered his shared fantasy and fallen for his scam, his con, his expert way of manipulating and exploiting you. Jay Gatsby ended up dead in his luxury pool. Many YouTube influencers will end up dead or in jail, the usual fate of cult leaders. See through the lies. Wake up. The people you most admire are frequently the worst people in the world, while pretending to be the best. That's the nature of the narcissistic pathology. Ordinary people often struggle with the idea that the people posing as the most moral are usually the least moral. They succumb so easily to the big lie. They believe what con artists tell them. They don't grasp that narcissists have based their lives on lying, in order to preserve a fantasy, a false image. The Antichrist doesn't arrive with horns on his head. He arrives calling himself the second coming of Christ, and everyone who doesn't understand narcissism will fall for his con. That's the nature of this game. The devil's greatest trick is to make you think he is God. Nothing with YouTube influencers is real, and their phony image is the most unreal thing of all, the opposite of who they really are. Isn't it time you saw through these people, these apex predators?